My name is Elliot, and 25 years ago I was adopted. I was adopted by one of the most selfless, loving, and incredible individuals I know, and to this day, she is my top role model. She is my birth mother. I also call her mom, even though she never came to me and said she wanted for me to call her mom. I still call her my mom because she is my mom, and also my adopted mom is my mom. Now, unfortunately, I can't really give you the nitty-gritty on what the adoption process is like because I wasn't too involved. I was still in the womb. I was still being born. So I can't really give you too much information there, but I want to give you a few memories I have from growing up being adopted. And so the first one I remember, I was very little. It's just like, I only remember like little bits of it. I had jaundice. And so one of the things we always laugh about this is I was like a plant. They had to set me in this windowsill and rotate me just so I got enough sun. That's one of the first memories I had. It's very vague, not too much like else I can share with you on that, but it's something we can always look back on and laugh about. I know jaundice isn't really like something you would laugh about, but if you think about it, you're like a plant, you have to be rotated in the sun in a windowsill. It gets a little funny. The next memory I had was several years later. I was about 8 or 9 years old. We went out to visit my birth mom and my birth grandmother. And my birth grandmother was dying, and she wanted to see all of her grandchildren before she passed. We went to her house, and one of the things I remember was on the wall was pictures of all of her grandchildren, including me. Now, I had never seen her until this time, and it really touched my heart to see that I was also part of their family. They had not forgotten me, they loved me, they accepted me as their family, even though I had not seen them, some of them, ever. We were only supposed to be there for about an hour or so, and it was just me, my mother, and my sister. And we ended up being there almost all day. Now, I'm terrified of spiders, but I actually had never had so much fun going out and capturing spiders. In their backyard, they had all these holes in the ground, and apparently there's tarantulas in there, and so we went out and caught some tarantulas. I was terrified, but I was also having the time of my life with my birth mother and my biological sister. A couple years later, I went through a rough phase in my life where my grandmother on my adopted family passed away, and my sister was moving out to college. Both of them are also incredible role models in my life. And it was just really difficult during that time. I had lost my grandmother, and my sister was gone. She was up at Boston College. And so it was a really rough year for me, and my birth mother and my mom, they were always in touch. They kept in touch before I was born, and to this day they keep in touch. They actually talk quite often, which is awesome, I think. But yeah, so my birth mother recognized that I was having a really difficult time, and so she spoke with my mom and said he might just need a little more space right now. And so for a while, I didn't talk to them at all. I just kind of needed my adoptive parents, and they just kind of helped me through that time. It was very difficult. But then a few years later after that, I remember reaching out to my sister, my biological sister, sorry, I get the terms sometimes mixed up. I see them all as one big family. So I met with my biological sister. We went to the Galleria. We met at Mikasina, and it was really fun just because we hadn't seen each other in several years. We had grown up by now. I think we were 18 at the time. She was 19, and we were playing mimes or charades. We were almost looking at each other through a mirror. We hadn't seen each other in a while, so we wanted to see what we looked like. Did we look similar? We did. We actually looked very similar. And we also just wanted to see what our interests were. So we actually had fairly similar interests. We both, we're kind of adrenaline junkies. We like to go play putt-putt. We like Mexican food. So we had a lot of things that were similar. And it was just a really fun way to meet each other, I guess, again, after a period of time. After that point, I started hanging out with them more frequently. So I actually went out to restaurants with them fairly often. We did go to a lot of Mexican restaurants. I don't know, I would just love Mexican food, so it's great, or Tex-Mex food. So we went out to restaurants a lot, and I mean, I've been also up at college and working the past 2 years in Cleveland, so unfortunately I haven't had the time to see them as often. They're in Dallas, but I also haven't really been here to see my adopted family. So, I mean, now that I moved back 3 weeks ago, so I'm actually planning on having lunch with my birth mom this week, and just like kind of rekindling our relationship now that I'm back. But we did talk on the phone quite often when I was gone. And I mean, never once in my life did I not feel loved. And I think, I mean, for me, I came from a small family. Well, my adopted family is small, so I have one older sister, she's 7 years older, and then I have my two parents. Seeing that I was adopted, and again, I've known as long as I can remember, I mean, since maybe I was like a day old, I don't know, just like when I can first remember, I've always known I was adopted, and I just see it as my family getting bigger. Now, if you have a big family, I don't know what that'll be like, but coming from a small family, you just see it as a bigger family, which is really nice. I mean, it's nice to have like another sister, another brother. I've never met my dad, unfortunately, but I mean, if the opportunity arose, I would definitely be interested in meeting him. But yeah, I mean, I'm just so incredibly blessed, and both of my moms, and my dad, and my sisters. I mean, I just love them to death, and I know I am always loved. I mean, I really can't speak more highly of them. They've always been in touch with each other. It's been difficult at times, especially for my dad and my adoptive sister, just because, I mean, it's difficult to see, like, yeah, I have another sister, or I have another father as well. But they've all worked together to maintain an incredible foundation and relationship with each other. So again, I'm just so incredibly blessed, and I can tell you, adoption is nothing to, I mean, it can be a little scary, but it's honestly the most rewarding thing ever, both for the birth mom, for the birth dad, for the birth sister, for the adopted family. I mean, it's definitely something to look at, definitely. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out. Unfortunately, again, I can't speak on behalf of the actual process, but I can speak on experiences of being adopted. I can also tell you, I guess just a little piece of wisdom to my 25 years of life, that from the kids and parents I've actually spoken with, just kind of people who are our family friends who are looking at adopting, tell your kids as soon as they know, or as soon as they can like fully understand. If you wait until them later in life, like when they're pubescent or puberty stages of life, or even older, they tend to go through an identity crisis, and I mean, it doesn't really end up well. So make sure you tell your kid as soon as you know, or as soon as they can fully understand. Again, I've known it all my life, so it's just something, a little piece of wisdom from my 25 years of life. Any questions? Oh. Yeah.
What was it like? I mean, you said that you have your biological sister that's from your birth mom is only what, a year younger than you?
A year older.
A year older than you?
Yep.
How did that feel like in your minds that she had another child so close with you?
So it actually, I mean, I just saw it again as she was my sister. She was older than me. I mean, I still loved her. We led different lives, but I mean, she was still my sister. I didn't have any feelings of like dislike towards her, or I didn't like ever want to meet her. We loved each other. I mean, even though we hadn't seen each other for periods of times for a few years. I mean, but yeah, she's still my sister to this day. And I'll always love her. So, any other questions?
Thank you.